Welcome to my channel. My name is Lydia Wilmsen. I'm a life and mindset coach for successful entrepreneurs and C-suite leaders. And today's video is a little bit about the role of emotions, or how you can deal with difficult emotions in your life. All coming obviously from my mindset and manifestation practices and understandings of the recent years. And how to deal with emotions is something that a lot of people struggle with, because if you're a high achiever, if you're someone who works hard, who works tirelessly, tirelessly, yeah, that's a word, I think, it can happen that you use your high achievement in order to almost repress your emotions. A lot of my clients in the beginning, when they come to me, they almost cannot stop work. They cannot accept sitting still for just 5 minutes, because they almost go into a feeling of like, oh my God, the thoughts are coming down on me. And I don't know what to do. There are so many horrible thoughts. There is all this rage in me. There is all this sadness in me, and I don't know what to do with it. So I better keep working. I better keep distracting myself, because this is all I know. This is all I have been. And there's a lot to it, why it has been like that. It comes from childhood. It comes from how you perceived or how you were taught to receive love. Most of my clients were never loved for who they were. They were not even loved, but at least accepted for their achievements, good grades in school, being quiet, not being a problem, just dealing with their own lives, or even taking on, they had to almost take on the role of the caregiver in the family early on. So, a lot of them never experienced being loved and accepted just for who they were. So they kept this cycle up. They kept overworking, and they are overworking right now, because this is the way how they learned to be accepted. And of course we have to shift that. And beyond that, there is, or below that level of work, lies a lot of suppressed emotions. And especially my male clients deal with a lot of rage underneath. They can't even access sadness, grief, sadness on the first level. Usually there is a lot of grief, and once we work through that, a lot of sadness for everything they didn't receive, for everything that was done to them. And it is almost like the secondary level, behind rage often is a lot of sadness. And yeah, especially men often don't give themselves permission to go to that, because they have to be the strong ones. They have to be the ones who don't cry, men don't cry, all of that. So there's a lot of work we often do around emotions and giving yourself permission to feel that. And for women, it can be a lot of, what I experience with my female clients, can also be a lot of rage, but even more depression, and almost confusion and missing clarity, and being oh my God, I don't know who I am, being overwhelmed by the whole range of emotions, by everything. And it can still mix. This is just a more generalized view when I look at my clients. This is how it shows up in my clients, and there are always people where it's different. So if you experience something else, that is totally fine. And what do we do with emotions? The big question. And I have been there. I had so much rage in me that I thought, if I would open the box of Pandora, if I would open the box of my rage, my anger, I would literally kill people. I was afraid of not being able to handle my rage. The same with sadness. For a long time, as I said before in many of my videos, I struggled with depression my whole life. And it was almost like if I went deeper into that and started crying, I would never be able to stop. It was a literal physical feeling of, if I start now, if I don't repress that, I will never be able to end that. I will never be able to stop it. And this is one of the big fears of my clients, that when they go into these feelings, when they access them, they are not in control anymore. These emotions will take over, and you don't know what is going to happen. And that's a big fear that I want to address with you today. And I also want to say, these repressed emotions still rule you. People think when they repress emotions, they are safe, they can contain them. They are in a like in a box, stored away, and, they don't do any harm. The thing is, two things here. They hold a lot of energy. A lot of energy is needed to contain these emotions in this box, and you don't have access to that energy. So if you repress a lot of emotion, a lot of stored experiences, it will take so much energy to do that you do not have access to in your day-to-day life. So if you're exhausted, if you're running low on energy, this is one reason why that can happen. So it takes a lot of energy that you do not have access to in your day-to-day life if you're repressing your emotions. Another thing is that these stored away emotions that come from trigger events, from like root events in your childhood usually, or they can even be passed down through generations, they still are active. You think you have them stored away, but it's almost like someone sitting in there and doing a thing of their own. So they are still influencing you. They are controlling you, even though you have stored them away. They are still having control over your life. And you can see that, for example, if you get very angry at people, throughout your day-to-day job or in your business, like you get very angry at these stupid people around you who are driving with their cars around you. You get very angry at all these things in your life. This shows, even though you think you have repressed them, you have like stored it away, it is active. And what can happen here, if you repress it for too long, you can have one event where it all spills over, where it all comes out. And these are the events that often happen out of nowhere. You think you're safe, and then the biggest fight of your life happens with your spouse, and you actually are, you hurt each other, and it might end your relationship. Or you are, like having a big fight with someone else in your life, and you're actually destroying friendships or client relationships and so on. So that can happen, or it can be triggered, like another emotion can be triggered throughout your life. And you think, hey, I've stored it away, but no, it's still active. And the thing is, if you don't take care of that, if you don't look at what's going on here, it will show up randomly in your life, usually at very unexpected moments and when you're not prepared. If you now, instead of hiding it away and putting it away, start dealing with the things that are connected with it, you are taking the control back, and you can decide, like you can start diminishing the stored negative emotions, traumatic memories. You can like basically build them down, like release them. And then you have control over any and every situation in your life, because you're not ruled by something outside of you that you have stored away, like the emotions that you have almost like taken outside and stored away, you have dissociated from. They cannot take over anymore because you're fully aware of them and you are dealing with them. So actually this idea of I'm repressing something so that it doesn't have like influence on my life is very outdated and is very backwards. It's the other way around. Deal with these things, you will take your power back, they will not have control over you anymore, and you have a gigantic amount of energy all of a sudden to your disposal, because it's not used to hold something down anymore. So these are the reasons why it is so important to take care of these things. And your relationships will get better, your life will get better, everything will get better. There is no downside to dealing with your emotions and taking care of these repressed emotions. There is no downside to it. What about the fear of like it all comes out all of a sudden and I can't contain it? If you do what I teach you, certain ways of somatic release, you can really almost like do it in smaller doses, because you're not going to release anger with other people. You're doing it with yourself. So for example, there are a lot of somatic releases that you can do if you're very angry. So for example, you can take a punching ball and punch it. Or you can take, not the wall because it's hard. And I know like from clients and friends who have broken their hands because of that anger. So don't hurt yourself, don't hurt other people and don't hurt yourself. So take something softer to punch, take a pillow, take the mattress, punch that, the sofa, Press against the wall with your hands. Press against the wall with all your force. And the thing is, on a physical level, you cannot do this over a certain amount of time. You cannot punch a punching ball for 24 hours. So at some point, your body is going to be exhausted. So you will have released a lot, and there is a point where your body will stop. It's the same with panic attacks. I think the number that they say is 20 minutes. After that, your body has to go into different state again. So you don't have to fear to be stuck in that experience for more than 20 minutes. You only have to, and this is like not what I teach, but what was, like, hey, go into, like, experience the panic attack and for 20 minutes, and then it'll be fine. Then you'll be through it. This is not what I teach. It's just to give you an example that your physical experiences will have to end because your body doesn't have the energy to keep going. So the fear of, I am going to, like, if I just let rage out, I am going to be raging for the next 3 years, and I'm going to go like on a hunt and kill people around me. If you go into a safe space, not to other people, if you punch a pillow for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you do it with all your force, you will see and feel your body being exhausted, and you will have to stop, and you will feel the release. So if you do it in these ways, there you can let go of the fear of, I am going to not have control over it. It's actually the most controlled way you can deal with your emotions, and it will work. And if you feel, like, I'm not good at this by myself, I need a witness, I need a coach on my side, go and get help. Just go and get help. You can even check out in my description my different offers, and I'm definitely there to help you in these moments and go through that with you, whether in person or remotely. It's totally difficult. I have guided so many people through somatic releases, through physical experiences of rage, of all of that, and I'm quite good in creating a safe space for you to do that, and you don't have to fear that you're hurting yourself or someone else. So if you feel you can't do it by yourself and you want support, it is there for you. So, somatic release. As I said, there are different ways how to use your body to release. The same with sadness. If you give yourself permission to cry, to properly cry, I don't just mean like, and then like having it stuck here and repress it again, you will feel the release. So when I used to cry in my life, I cried this version that I just said, I always tried to repress it, and I never had the feeling it would ever end. When I started to learn to release sadness and grief and crying from my body, almost in these old forms, like when you saw that someone passed away and you had these old women there and like screaming and wailing, we don't do this anymore. In our society, it's about like, be silent, don't show emotion, be like a mask. And when you see how these people did that, they released emotion in that moment. They released the energy, they went through the experience. They released the stored experiences with that. And when you cry like that, have a proper cry where you scream and wail into a pillow. And I always say, like, find a time and a place where you're not being witnessed by the whole world around you, because for most people it's a bit difficult. And most of my clients, they also have to they have to learn that. It's quite difficult in the beginning. It's like, oh my God, my emotion, like, ooh, I can't do that. So I also tell them, give yourself time, go step after step, have like a routine of doing that every morning, have a space for 5 minutes every morning where you just go into your body and you shake out your body. So somatic release means it's not about body movement that has to look nice. It's not coordinated movements. It's not like choreography or looking nice or something like that. Somatic release means you let the body take over, you let the body do. So, like if you feel there's a lot of trauma, a lot of energy, tenseness stored in your body, like I give my clients the routine to start, or to at least have like 5 minutes a day where they go into like shaking their body. Just shaking their body, let their body take over, either in standing, like you're standing and you're shaking your body, you're lying down on a mat and you just wildly shake your arms, your legs, and release this like energy from your body. Or if you're dealing with certain emotions, with anger, for example, press against the wall with all the force you have, like press the wall against from you. Or punch a pillow, do air punches, use your face with it, like the anger, like every of these basic emotions has a very strong physical expression in the face, and you can use that. For example, I had clients who were not allowed to show expressions at all, and they had almost like difficulties, and it was a lot of release for them to use the muscles in their faces, you know, like of anger or of sadness or of shock, you know, like shock is like opening these eyes, and you know, like using all these muscles in your face. So use your whole body, and you can use, as I said, sound. And you can even do like silent screams, you know, like you don't have to loudly scream. It's still the same muscles. So if there are people around you, do a silent scream, like ah, or scream into a pillow, like have something that muffles the sound, or put on loud music and then scream into a pillow, and use, you know, like these chakras here, like your throat chakra. It can be so releasing. So use your body, use your voice to release, and give yourself a time. Put on a timer of like, hey, 5 minutes, and start with that every day. And you will feel the energy diminishing. You will feel it's not like you are opening it and it gets more and more and more. No, it usually, like what happens is you will feel a release. And perhaps after 3-4 times, you will start feeling almost the intensity going down. It's almost like you're emptying the bucket. It's not like I'm opening it and I'm filling the bucket. No, you're like emptying the bucket. So that's a very simple technique. And there are like whole practitioners out there. In my experience with myself, my clients, it's not needed. You can have a very simple technique at home to work through that. And if you feel a lot of root experiences are coming up, I can only again suggest to get support, to get help, to get a practitioner on your side, and reach out to me. The thing is, when you do this in a very contained way, your body usually knows how much it can do. Like, I wouldn't force yourself to say like, I'm doing 24 hours today, like a 24-hour fast, I'm doing a 24-hour somatic release, everything has to go out. No, usually you will feel there is, like now it's quiet. And then you can stop and you can start the next day again, because your body knows how much it can release at a certain time. So you don't have to go over that. You can know that the body knows how much is safe for you to release and how much is safe for you to experience. And when you do that together with an affirmation routine of I am safe, I'm safe, stable and secure within myself. I am stable, safe and always taken care of. I feel safe, I am stable, I'm happy and fulfilled. If you have like a routine like that on the side while doing the somatic releases, you're safe and there is nothing that can hurt you. And as I said, if you feel a bit uncomfortable by yourself, reach out, book a session with me, get into one of my groups, and I can support you. I can guide you through the process. I have worked with hundreds of clients, and usually what it takes is a safe place. It takes permission. It takes guidance from someone who knows what's going on in people, in their psyche, usually that keeps them from certain things. And I can create a safe space for you to go through these things. But for now, take with you. You do not have to fear your emotions. However, you want to work with them instead of having them in the closet and doing their own thing, because they are always active. You thinking that when you're repressing your emotions, that you're safe, that they don't do anything, is wrong. They are doing a lot. They are guiding. They are impacting your whole life. They are having control over your whole life, over all the experiences with other people out there. They are running your life. You think you have stored them away safely. No, they are actually running your life. And you see it in all interactions with other people, where you get triggered by kind of small things, where you think like, why did I get so angry? Because this person talked to me in their car, and why did I get so enraged about that? This is what's happening here. All these suppressed emotions are still ruling your life, and you're not aware of that. And they are actually you are taking a lot of energy out from you in order to store them away. So in order to get access to that energy again and just have a fundamentally different life where you just don't get triggered by things anymore, because you have worked through the experiences that created this like emotional like stuckness in you, you know, like the more you work through that, your life experience will just be so different, and you just will not be triggered by things anymore, because the root causes are solved. The root causes behind everything are solved. So that is already 20 minutes now on that topic. And I guess I will do a little bit more on the whole, like content on the whole of like the whole topic of emotional release and why it's important, and how actually like these things are stored. Like, why does it happen? Like certain things, if you're battling rage, if you're battling sadness, where it comes from. I will give you examples from my clients who struggled with certain things and how that showed up. And this will give you powerful ways then of also working with your own children and making sure that they don't end up in these spaces, and they actually learn from you now how to deal with emotions instead of repressing them. And you will make sure through that your children will have a totally different experience in their own lives from the beginning on. It's the biggest gift you could give them. Okay, as I said before, if you want more support, more help, if you want to join the mastermind, I have a mastermind for six-figure earners and beyond. Or if you say like, hey, I'm not at that level, but I want community of people who are dealing with mindset and manifestation and, you know, like business growth, then the membership is for you. One-to-one options are available, all of that. I'm here to guide you if you want more support. Please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, tell me who you are in the comments and what you want me to talk about. And that's it for today. Until the next video.